हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So Bhagwan is describing the different types of sukha. All of us are striving to attain sukha, happiness, and to become free of all sorrow and suffering. And in order to do this, we perform different types of actions as per our understanding. And as a result, we gain some sukha. So this sukha is of three types: tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. Depending on the actions which we perform and our attitude and the gunas, we gain these three types of sukha. So the sattvic sukha is mainly depends on the purity of the mind, purity of the antakarana. When the antakarana becomes pure, when the buddhi has the understanding of the self, atma buddhi prasadajam, when that atma buddhi prasad is there, the antakarana becomes absolutely pure. In that pure antakarana, we experience a sukha, which is nothing but expression of our own sukha, of our own supreme self, expressing in that pure antakarana. But when we interact with the world and indulge in the sensual pleasures of this world, that pleasure which we get is considered rajasic sukha. It comes through our interaction with the world as shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. So as per our desires and as per our interaction, we experience different levels of pleasures which are very pleasant in the beginning, but slowly all the pleasure goes away. One experiences pain because one loses all strength, all power. One loses one's understanding and the capacity of the antakarana. The senses also becomes weak. So in the end, the rajasic sukha gives sorrow. And a tamasic sukha is when the mind becomes dull due to laziness, due to forgetfulness, due to sleep, due to intoxication. When the mind becomes dull, one experiences absence of sorrow. That itself is considered as happiness. But the tamasic happiness, in the beginning also, it deludes the person, and even when the sorrow ends, it continues to delude the person. So one should strive to make our antakarana more and more pure through proper sadhana and experience that sattvic joy. So after explaining all this, now Bhagwan tells us that we have to now do our sadhana, do our karma based on our gunas, and purify ourselves and gain that self-knowledge and become free. So in order to make this topic clear, Bhagwan says in the next verse the importance of these gunas, the three gunas. So verse number 40, let us chant. न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः. भगवान says कि न तद अस्ति पृथिव्याम, that there is nothing on this in this world, on this prithvi, va divi deveshu, or in heavens, in the devalok, there is nothing, or there is no one, sattvam means no being, who is free from the gunas of prakriti. Prakriti jair muktam yadebi syat tribir gunaihi. There is no one in this world or in the other world who is free from the gunas of prakriti. See, we have seen this prakriti of Bhagwan. It is Trigunatmika. This prakriti is also called Maya, is Trigunatmika. Means it has got three gunas potentially hidden in it. In the 7th chapter, Bhagwan has said, कि दैवी हेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायाम एताम तरन्ति ते. That this my Maya is divine, is gunamayi, is of the nature of gunas. So the three gunas are there potentially in the Prakriti. We have seen in the 14th chapter also the lakshanas, the characteristics of these three gunas. The sattva gun is pure, it is clear, it is free from all impurities. So when that sattva gun is expressing, then it expresses in a living being as knowledge and as sukha also. Then rajogun is of the nature of attachment, of color. When rajogun arises, the mind becomes restless, and it engages a person into various types of activities. And tamogun is of the nature of dullness. When tamogun takes over, the person becomes dull, the mind becomes dull, becomes lazy, sleepy, forgetful. So our body, this physical body, then our senses, our mind, our intellect, all of them come under the influence of these three gunas. The three gunas express in a living being. The three gunas, we don't talk about the three gunas in matter itself. For example, Akash, we don't call Akash as Sattvic, Rajasic or Tamasic. We don't call Vayu as Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. But beings are called Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. Human beings, animal, birds, plant, even the devatas and other beings in the other lokas, they are also Rajasic, Sattvic, Tamasic. Because the body as well as our antakarana, that is the sthula and sukshma upadhis, they get influenced by these gunas. So Bhagavan said, Na tad asti prithivyam va devi deveshu va punaha that there is nothing or no one on this earth, nor is there anyone in the heavens, any being, sattvam. Sattvam means pranijatam, beings, who are prakriti jaihi muktam, who are free from the gunas born from prakriti. Prakritehi muktam yadebi syat tribhir gunaihi. So, our this equipment, as well as the person who is using this equipment, and the result, that is called kriya, karaka and phala. Kriya means the activity, karak is the one who is propelling this activity, and the result, all of them are influenced by the gunas. Sarva samsaraha kriya karaka phala lakshanaha sattva rajas tamo gunatmakaha avidya parikalpitaha samula anartha ukto vriksha rupa kalpanaya cha urdhva moolam ityadina. And we are bound to these gunas, or bound to our upadhis due to our avidya, that anadi avidya, which has made us bound to these upadhis, which are expressing as influenced by these three gunas. So this is the way the whole world is made. This is how our body, our mind is made. But the gunas are influenced by our action also. Not only the actions get influenced by the gunas, but the gunas also, to a large extent, influence our action. In the 3rd chapter, Bhagwan had spoken about Kama and Krodha. Arjuna had asked question that what is that because of which a person commits sin? Ata kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichan api vashneya baladeva niyojitaha. There Bhagwan had mentioned Kama esha Krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidhenam iha vairinam. That here Arjuna understand it is Kama and Krodha which is born from Rajogun. Rajoguna samudbhava yasya sa kamo rajoguna samudbhavo rajogunasya va samudbhavaha. Shankaracharya ji writes that is Kama and Krodha are not only born from Rajogun, but Kama and Krodha also influences Rajogun. When Kama Krodha is there, then Rajogun rises. So they are connected to each other. Our emotions, our actions, they influence the gunas, and the gunas influence our emotions, our actions. And all of us, we have, according to our past karmas, the actions which we have done in our past lives, which has influenced the gunas. Based on that, we are born in a particular family. We are born with a particular predominant gunas. So, Bhagwan will be telling us further that based on these gunas and based on our purva karma, we are classified broadly into these 4 groups: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And based on this varna, they are called varna, and based on the ashramas, we have to perform our karma. See, we have to perform karma in order to progress on our spiritual path, and we have to perform karma to maintain the balance in the society. There are twofold reason for performing proper karma. One is sociological. We have to maintain a particular balance in the society. You cannot just do anything you want. You cannot, that will create disturbance in the society. So based on the social structure, each one of us, we are given certain duties, which if we perform properly, the social order is maintained. That is one thing. Another, when we perform our karma, we not only get our whatever result we want in this world, but when this karma is performed dedicating to Ishvara, it also purifies our mind and takes us towards our ultimate goal. So the Vedas, based on these three gunas and based on the influence of these gunas on our karma and influence of these gunas on our nature, has divided, has classified humans in these four orders and also the four ashramas, so that when we follow this sincerely and strictly, then we not only maintain the balance of the society, but slowly and steadily this takes us towards our ultimate goal. So the whole idea about this social structure is that everyone's work is determined and everyone's work is safeguarded, so that we live performing our work properly without any tension in this world and progress. See, this is a big topic, but briefly few things I will mention as it come to my mind. So the Vedas, based on this gunas, have given this Chaturvarna and the Varnashrama Dharma, which we have to sincerely follow. But the Vedas and our Shastras also say that in the Satya Yuga and all this was followed very sincerely and properly. But as the yugas started changing, the Varnashrama Dharma also started getting polluted and weaker. So in Treta Yuga, more confusion happened in Varnashrama Dharma. Lot of disturbance happened due to the Rakshasas and all. Ravan also created havoc, didn't allow anyone to perform their dharma, to do their yajna karma and all. So lot of disturbance happened. Bhagwan had to come to protect that dharma in Treta Yuga as Sri Ram. Then in Dwapar Yuga also, the dharma got polluted, lot of disturbance happened. People forgot about their kartavya karma. So all confusion happened. Again, Bhagwan had to manifest himself as Krishna to teach us the proper path. But as we are progressing now in this Kali Yuga, lot of Varna Sankara has taken place. Lot of admixture of this Varna has taken place. Total confusion is there. So those who are aware of their own Varna, those who traditionally are aware of their Varna, they can sincerely follow their, perform their karma according to their Varna, and it will be beneficial. But wherever there is Varna Sankara has taken place, all this confusion has taken place, then we have to recognize, we have to do some introspection and find out what is my aptitude, what is the predominant guna which is propelling me, what is my education, what is the status in the society, and all sorts of other factors. After seeing them, we have to determine our duty and perform that duty to the best of our ability. The worldly duty should be done in such a way that we maintain the balance in the society. And the spiritual duties should be done in such a way that we are able to purify our antakarana and attain our supreme goal. The purpose has to be understood properly. The purpose of this varnashrama dharma in the world is to maintain order in the society. And when we fulfill this varnashrama dharma, dedicating them to Ishvara, it purifies our antakarana and makes us fit for moksha. So this varnashrama dharma is only meant for karma, to determine our karma. Because the karma depends on our body. We have seen that body is the adhisthana. Adhishthanam tatha karta. It depends on our body, it depends on our indriyas, it depends on our antakarana. So depending on the quality of our body, our mind, our antakarana, we have to perform our karma. So everyone is not fit to do all types of karma. What one person can do efficiently, other person cannot do. Everyone according to their own gunas, they have to do their karma. So the classification is done in order to streamline karma. But when it comes to attaining moksha, everyone has a chance of attaining moksha. It doesn't depend whether you are a male or a female. It doesn't depend on whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. It doesn't depend on whether you are a Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanprastha or Sannyasi. Everyone can pursue this path towards moksha and everyone can attain moksha. So for moksha, the quality required to attain that knowledge has got nothing to do with your physical body. The qualification required for gaining knowledge is viveka, vairagya, shamadamadi shak sampatti, mumukshutvam. These are all qualities of our antakarana. Vivek, vairagya, shama, dhamma, uparama, titiksha, shraddha, samadhan, mumukshutvam. All of them are qualities of the antakarana. They have nothing to do with the physical body. Those qualities can be there in a child. Those qualities can be there in a woman, a girl, an elderly person, a young person. So everyone is everyone is open to pursue the path of moksha. But when it comes to karma, then all of us are advised that you perform karma according to your aptitude, which is determined by your gunas. So if you are sattvic predominantly, then you do this type of karma. That will be most suitable for you. If you are rajasic, you do this karma. If you are tamasic, you do this karma. And when you do this karma according to your own gunas, it will not only be beneficial to maintain the order in the society, but it will help to purify your antakaran also. Even a tamasic person, when he does the karma according to his svabhav, dedicating to Ishvara, can become absolutely pure and fit for gaining that supreme knowledge and becoming free. So this varnashrama dharma has to be understood properly, because a lot of misunderstanding is there, and also a lot of outer forces who try to interpret this varnashrama dharma according to their own selfish motives and all, and have created a lot of confusions in the world. People are hesitant even to talk about it. But as I said, these are based on the three gunas. The three gunas are part of the prakriti. You cannot change them. They are there. You can't say, no, I will make the prakriti only sattvic. No, prakriti will have sattvagun, rajogun and tamogun in it. See, just as our own body, from a medical standpoint also, we have this blood, and if we look at our blood, it is red in color. But the blood is also classified into different groups: A, B, AB, O, then positive, negative, A positive, A negative, O positive, O negative. Like that we have different blood groups. And even if two different types of blood they come together, there is a violent reaction also. So if somebody needs blood, first they have to check the blood group properly and match it. Then only it will work. So if I am born with a particular blood group, I cannot change it. But that doesn't mean that I am good or bad. So I should understand it, and accordingly I should deal with it. Similarly, we are born with certain gunas predominant in us based on our past karma, and based on that we have certain karma which is suitable for us. That Bhagwan is mentioning here in the following verses. So let us chant verse number 41. Brahmana kshatriya visham shudranancha parantapa karmani pravibhaktani svabhava prabhavair gunaihi. Bhagwan says कि ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय and Visham. Visham means Vaishya. So Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya and Shudranam, and for Shudras, he Parantapa, Karmani Pravibhaktani. Karmas are divided. Different karmas are prescribed for a Brahman, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, a Shudra. How they are prescribed for them based on what? Svabhava prabhavaihi gunaihi. They are based on the gunas which are born from Svabhava. What is Svabhava? Svabhava is Bhagwan's Prakriti associated with our avidya. Avidya sanyuktam avyaktam. So Svabhava prabhavai gunaihi Svabhava Ishwarasya Prakritihi Trigunatmika Maya sa prabhavo esham gunanam te Svabhava prabhavaha. Taihi shamadini karmani pravibhaktani brahmanadinam. So based on this Bhagwan's Prakriti, the different gunas they manifest, and based on these gunas, appropriate karmas are there. Again, Bhagwan says, Shankaracharya, कि अथवा ब्राह्मण स्वभावस्य सत्वगुणः प्रभवः कारणम. Another meaning of स्वभाव is अथवा जन्मांतर कृत संस्कार प्राणिनां वर्तमान जन्मनि स्वकार्याभिमुखत्वेन अभिव्यक्तः स्वभावः स प्रभवो येषां गुणानां ते स्वभाव प्रभवाः गुणाः. That depending on the karmas which we have done in our past lives. Janmantara krita samskara. And that samskar which is there, based on those karmas and those samskars, certain gunas gets manifested in this particular life. When we are born according to our past karmas. And those past karmas are, according to their samskar, they influence the rajogun, tamogun or sattvagun. So based on those karmas, we are born with certain predominant gunas. So who is a Brahmana? Bhagwan says, Brahmana is one who has predominant sattva gun. Brahmana svabhavasya sattva gunaha prabhavaha karanam. And that sattva gun has influence on his body, has influence on his indriyas, has influence on his mind and buddhi, etc. Okay. Then the kshatriya. तथा क्षत्रिय स्वभावस्य सत्व उपसर्जनम रजः प्रभवः. So who is a kshatriya? The kshatriya swabhav is due to the rajogun associated with sattvagun. The kshatriya has got rajogun predominant, which is also influenced by sattvagun. Brahmana is more predominantly sattvagun. Though rajogun, tamogun will also be there, but predominantly sattvagun. A kshatriya is predominantly rajogun, but associated with sattvagun. So sattvic rajogun. Kshatriya will have sattvic rajogun. And a Vaishya will also have rajogun, but will be tamasic rajogun. Tamogun will be associated with rajogun. So tamasic rajogun. So both kshatriyas and vaishyas, they have rajogun, but kshatriya is sattvic rajogun, means sattva pradhan, sattva gun will be there, influencing the rajogun. And for a vaishya, tamogun will be influencing the rajogun. And a Shudra Swabhava is due to predominant tamogun. These gunas are there. You can't fight with these gunas. And once when these gunas influence us, the body, the mind, the indriyas, all of them come under their sway. And as I said, all of us, we have all these three gunas. But their proportion differs. And their proportions are determined from the very day of our birth, because we carry it from our past lives. So in our past lives, whatever karma we have done, based on that the gunas get influenced, and based on that we are born. So if I am born in a Brahmana Varna, it is because of the influence of the Sattva Gun. If a person is born in a Kshatriya Varna, it is because of the influence of Rajogun backed by Sattva Gun. Person is born in Vaishya Varna, it is because of the influence of Rajogun backed by Tamogun. And a person born in Kshudra Varna is influenced by the Tamogun. This is how it is. You can't deny it, it is there. So, understanding this whole structure, the Shastras, they have given the appropriate karma. So, Brahman, based on his swabhav, it is best suited if he perform this karma. Kshatriya, because of his swabhav, he can do this karma. Vaishya, because of his swabhav, he can do this karma. And a Shudra, because of his swabhav, he can do this karma. Like that, proper classification is there. Also based on a gender. The man and a woman. This classification is also based on our body. And depending on the gender of the body, the mind also gets influenced, the emotions also gets influenced. So based on the gender also, we have to find out what is the best suited action for me, so that I don't have to put forth a lot of effort in that action. I can just perform them, dedicating them to Ishvara, so that my mind becomes free and is available for higher purpose in life. See, a person with effort can do the work of other person also. A Brahmana, if he wants, he can do the work of a Kshatriya. Kshatriya, if he wants, he can do the work of a Brahmana. A man, if he wants, he can do work of a woman. A woman can do work of a man also. But these are exceptions, and these are if we want to attain something in the world of karma. But if we want to just pursue this path of karma in order to maintain the balance in the society, and to purify ourselves so that we attain our moksha, we have to do the karma which is best suited for me according to my gender and according to my varna. That is the philosophy behind this varnashrama dharma. See, we have these 4 varnas. The Brahmana, because he or she is the predominant sattva gun is there, and the sattva gun is pure by nature, like a clean water, pure by nature, and has got more ability to understand, and the sukha is also more. The Brahmana is best suited for the work of gaining knowledge and distributing and sharing that knowledge. Adhyayan and Adhyapana. The Kshatriya, having that Rajogun more, backed by Sattvagun, is best suited for is very brave, fearless, is best suited for work of administration, governance, execution. Then a Vaishya who has this Rajogun backed by Tamogun is best suited for work of agriculture, for banking, for trade. And the Shudra, because of the influence of the Tamogun, is best suited for work of providing services, service provider. So the Brahmana has got a legislative as well as a judicial power. Power to think and come up with rules, laws. See, one is we have the laws given to us by the Vedas. But depending on the different situation in the society in different times, these laws can be little bit modified. So the laws given in the Vedas are called the Shruti, but laws modified according to time and situation and era and all is called Smriti, which are given by those great thinkers in different times, such laws. So they are the lawmakers, thinkers, and also the judiciary who decide what is right, what is wrong, based on the understanding of these laws. That is the work of the Brahmanas. Then we have, once these laws are formulated, they have to be executed. They have to be put into practice in the society. And there must be someone who governs it properly, regulates it, executes it, sees that everyone follows it properly. So that job is best suited for a Kshatriya. The Kshatriya doesn't have a legislative power. The Brahmana doesn't have executive power. Brahmana can have legislative as well as judicial power. The Kshatriyas have executive powers. Then we have the Vaishyas. We need wealth, we need resources. They are the creators of resources. And Bhagwan has given three main duties of the Vaishyas mentioned here. Rishi, Gauraksha, Vanijyam. Krishi is farming, tilling the soil and bringing out different crops. That is one thing. Then Gauraksha, protecting the cows, means protecting wealth, means banking. And Vanijya means trade. Trade. So these threefold activities are best suited for a Vaishya. Then we have the Kshudras, who are the service providers for all. For example, if we want a house to be built, We take the land, we buy the land depending on the rules and laws which are formulated in the society. If there is some garbad and all, then we will have to go to the court and all. So the land is procured according to the laws and according to the rules. Then we have to build that house there. It can be built by those who give the services. We need an architect, we need a builder, we need someone to dig the soil, we need masons, we need carpenters, we need plumbers, we need electricians. So all these services are provided by the service providers. Most of the work in this world is done by the service providers. We wear our clothes, that is provided to us by those who have given this service. We use various types of sadhan, that is also given to us. Even if we have to cook, we have to have all the utensils and everything, that is also given to us. So the whole society, whether it is understanding this fourfold division or not, is based on this services, based on this different types of karma only. So in a society, there must be a legislative power. There must be people who decide what about the laws. They can amend laws, they can rectify laws, they can make laws. Then there are those who protect the laws. The soldiers are there, the police forces are there, the other people are there. Then there are those who create wealth. Then there is banking services are there. Then there is trade is there. And there are those service providers are there. Then various, we have our own house. We have to maintain our family. We have to take care of the children. We have to take care of the whole family. So whether we like it or not, when we live in this world, all these various types of work is there in this world to make our living smooth and effective and proper. And if all this work are predetermined and is everyone knows what is their duty, and if they keep doing it properly, then the whole thing goes smoothly. But if one person come in the way of other person's duty, or if a person doesn't know what is his duty and is totally confused, then it creates a disturbance in the society. For example, a Kshatriya has to defend the society, defend the laws, take care of all this. Like Arjuna was a Kshatriya and he had this duty to take care of the society, to protect the dharma, to fight against adharma. Suppose he just abandons that duty and goes away, then who will do his work? Somebody has to do that work. So who will do that work? It will create confusion. So keeping this in mind, our Shastras have given this Varnashrama Dharma, which in Kali Yuga has become very, very disturbed, because of which there is total disturbance in the society also. But the more we understand it and the more we understand the philosophy behind it and pursue it sincerely, it will be beneficial for me as an individual, it will be beneficial to the society and to everyone. So here Bhagavan says that based on your svabhava, you are born with a particular guna, and based on your gunas, you have your karma. So you understand that karma and do that karma. So with this background, Bhagavan now, he tells what are the karmas for a Brahmana, what are the karmas for Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, that we will see in our class tomorrow. Okay? So till then you take care, contemplate on this, think about it. If you have any questions, you may ask me, and understand it properly. Because whatever the Shastras are saying, all of them are for our welfare only, which have to be understood properly. Okay? So, more about this we will see in our class tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ॐ.